What's going on, guys? So I haven't seen you all in a while, and I've changed my plans in bodybuilding, so today that's what we're going to be talking about.
I want you to stay. It's not much of a life you're living.
So I've recently changed from going from a bulk down to a cut because I'm going on holiday soon and I want to get, like, not shredded, but I just want to be able to at least see my muscles. So at the moment I've lost a tiny bit of fat, probably still around about 12-13% fat, but it's getting there. So I've still got another 6-7 weeks just to lose a little bit of extra fat. At the moment my body weight's 158 pounds and I was up to about 162, so 4 pounds over 4 weeks is a little bit too fast, I think, for me, but at the end of the day I can always bulk back up after my holiday. So today I'm going to be talking about how to cut or how to bulk depending on what your goals are. So the first thing you'd really need to do is look in the mirror, take a look at yourself and think, do I want to get bigger or do I want to cut down for, I don't know, even though the summer's already here, cut down for the end of summer. So once you've decided what you want to do, you're going to want to calculate your BMR, which is a basal metabolic rate. So that's basically the amount of calories you need just to lay in a bed all day for 24 hours. It won't be spot on, it'll be probably pretty close to what you actually need, but this is just a base of what we're going to use to set our macros. So to work out your BMR, all you need to do is know your gender, your age, your height and your weight. And if you don't know any of those, then I suggest you should find out pretty soon. I'll put a link in the description below for the BMR calculator. You can just go on Google and type BMR and it comes up like the second link, and it'll just ask you those 4 questions. Just type them in and then you get your BMR. So personally my BMR at the moment is roughly about 1,764, so I'd probably round that up to 1,765, and once you got that, the next step is we're going to calculate our activity factor. So what you need to do is basically consider how much you work out, what type of job you have, and just basically your daily activities. So we'll start off with the first activity factor, which is sedentary, which basically means you're sitting at a desk all day, you don't go to the gym really, you don't really walk anywhere, and you just basically have a minimal lifestyle with no exercise. And that will be calculated by 1.2. So let's say I was sedentary, all I do is get my BMR, which is 1,765, and just calculate it by 1.2, and that would be my overall maintenance level. But obviously I'm not sedentary, so we'll go for the rest now. So after sedentary we have lightly active, and then we have moderate, and then we have active, and then very active. What I'll do is I'll put a list of these down below with how much you should multiply each one, and you should hopefully be able to work out your maintenance calories. With lightly active, I would suggest that's roughly, you go to the gym maybe 1 to 3 times a week, and you have a moderate job, maybe working in the supermarket or something. With a moderate activity, I would say you go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, and once again you work in an average job where you don't do much exercise. And then with active, you probably go to the gym 6 to 7 times a week, and you've just got a normal job. And then people who are very active, you'd be going to the gym probably 7 days a week, maybe more, and you also have a very interactive job of being very active, probably like construction, or you play sports full time. So those are the activity factors. They'll all be down below with how much you need to multiply them by, and once you get your maintenance level, then we'll work on to the next step of bulking and cutting. So now we have a maintenance level. Basically, if you decide you're going to bulk or cut, you need to do the following. So if you're going to bulk and you're quite a hard gainer like I was, I'd go straight for the 500 plus calories on top of your maintenance. If you want to cut and you've already been to the gym for a while, you've gained some muscle and you don't want to lose any muscle cutting, I suggest doing a slow cut of minus 300 calories and then add some cardio into there. For my bulk, if I was doing a bulk right now, it would be 3,235 calories. But at the moment I'm doing a cut, and it is roughly about 2,435 calories. That's where I'm on at the moment, just to cut down. If you are obese or quite overweight and you've probably got like a 20 to 30% body fat, the first thing I'd do if you are overweight is go to the BMR, and before you type it all in, just knock 10 to 15% off your body weight and then go from there. So then you'll lose fat quicker, and then when you get to like 10 to 15% body fat, then you can recalculate your macros. So I'll just go into the macros that you do need to really calculate. You've got your protein, you've got your fat, and then you've got your carbohydrates. So for every gram of protein, that equals 4 calories. For every gram of fat, that equals 9 calories. And for every gram of carbohydrates, that equals 4 calories as well. You can do alcohol, which for every gram of alcohol is 7 calories, but I basically never drink. And if I do ever drink, I never stick it into my macros because it'll be like a bender for someone's birthday, and I probably won't drink for another 8 months. So alcohol, unless you do drink alcohol often, I wouldn't worry too much about adding it into your macros because it's not really relevant. And I suggest if you go to the gym a lot, you shouldn't really be drinking a lot because you need to keep hydrated. So if I was to do a bulk macro right now, straight away for my protein, I'd multiply my body weight in pounds by 1 for protein. So I'm 158 pounds, that means I'd have 158 grams of protein. With fat, this is for a lean bulk, so I would straight away multiply 158 pounds by 0.4, so that'll give me roughly about 64 grams of fat that I can have in my diet. The rest of the calories in your diet will be made up of carbohydrates. So what we do now is we multiply the protein by 4, and that gives us calories for that. We multiply fat by 9, and that also gives our calories for that. We'll add those two together, which at the moment that is roughly about 1,200, and then we'll take that away from our calories. So for my bulk, taking 1,200 calories away from my bulking calories, that'll leave me with around about 2,035 calories, and then you just divide that by 4, and that gives you how many grams of carbs you need. So that'll roughly be about 500 grams of carb. I know that sounds like a lot of carbs to eat, so unless you have any diabetic problems, or you don't drink enough water and you don't exercise enough, then I wouldn't suggest doing this. But when I first started, I ate a lot of sugary things just to get my carbs up, because all carbs is energy, and it just gives you a lot more strength and energy in the gym, and you'll like straight away you'll see improvements in your lifting. I went from not tracking any of my macros to tracking them, and I started increasing my weight like rapidly. So for a bulk, this is excellent. This way is like a custom fit to you, so these macros are only for you, and they'll be quite a lean bulk, so you won't have to worry about putting too much fat on. But obviously you are going to put fat on because you're eating a surplus of calories. You should be putting roughly on about a pound a week with this, especially if you stick to your macros. So now we've done the bulking, we're going to go on to the cut. Cut's slightly different. Well, this is how I do my cut, just because people always go on about BCAAs and needing that extra protein for cutting. And if you're like me and you don't use supplements apart from like pre-workout, this way would be great, so you won't have to take BCAAs or anything like that, or extra protein. So we'll start off with calculating our protein. So we'll take our protein and multiply our body weight by 1.3, which will give us roughly about 200 grams, well for me anyway, of protein to eat. Do exactly the same with the fat, so we'll have like 63 grams of fat, and then you'll add those two together, subtract that total calories from your cutting calories, which is roughly 1,040 something for me now, and then once again you divide that by 4, and that gives you your carbs in grams. So that's roughly about 250 grams of carbs. Now, with all this information, what do? Download an app. If you've got a smartphone or a tablet, you want to download an app called MyFitnessPal, and this will help you track all your macros. You can find things through the internet, or you can scan products and enter how much you eat, and it'll work out your macros for you. they'll put them in a little chart, and you can tell how much you've got left and how much you've overeaten. So it's really good. The only thing with it is you can't set your macros bang on to what you've calculated, but you can get them in within like 10 grams of each other. So if you're just starting out, this will be an excellent way to bulk up or cut down. And you can also add friends on there so you can compare how you're doing and give each other support. So it's an excellent little app. I'll put that in the description below as well. So everything in this video that you need to know and will be using, it'll all be in order down in the description, and I'll probably just write out the script down below so it makes more sense, because I'm terrible at explaining, you probably all know that. And just a disclaimer, I am not a nutritionist and I'm not a personal trainer, so don't come running to me if you're getting fat, or don't come running to me if you're too skinny. So this is just basically a basic introduction to macros, and hopefully it wasn't too much information packed into this video and you can understand some of it. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share, show some love. Hopefully I'll get a training video for you guys up soon, and I'll see you again.
I want you to stay.